Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another video presentation focusing on a lovely little dinosaur that actually appeared in, I believe, Jurassic Park and Jurassic World. It's actually seen getting nommed by the Tyrannosaurus Rex or the Tyrant Lizard during Jurassic Park. But this lovely dinosaur, well, I suppose it is a lizard, is Gallimimus, meaning chicken mimic. And we got a delightful little picture for you on the screen in its native landscape, or I think it'd be its native landscape. Gallimimus was a dinosaur that actually resembled an ostrich in stance and body posture, and I think you can see a bit of the resemblance. And the actual name Gallimimus means chicken mimic, and this also can emphasise the growing link between modern avian species and prehistoric dinosaurs. Here we have I actually think it's a really good image of Gallimimus, even though it's actually not coloured in. But this is probably actually quite a good representation of what Gallimimus would have looked like. Apologise for this, my kitten's just attacking the microphone. But Gallimimus was probably bird-like by nature and most likely appearance, and it was, the actual name means chicken mimic, which comes from chickens and like game birds, and it's Gallimiforms. I think that's the order of. But moving on, we're not talking about birds for a minute. Gallimimus actually lived during the late Cretaceous period, some 70 million years ago, and it was also discovered in Mongolia by paleontologists. So it's fair to speculate it would have roamed this region in general. Another slightly famous dinosaur that can trace its discovery to Mongolia is a lovely, delightful little dinosaur called Velociraptor, which I think means either swift thief or robber. And he's obviously world famous and renowned now for the Jurassic Park films, which a lot of people would have seen them, but not everyone's actually seen the Jurassic Park films. But if you haven't, you are uneducated, and I do advise that you watch them because they are fucking fantastic. But moving on, Gallimimus is actually known from both juvenile and adult specimens, but adults are actually believed to have reached 8 metres in length, 26 feet long, making it quite or 26 to 28 feet long, making it quite an actually decent sized medium dinosaur. It was actually a theropod, which is also the line of or order of dinosaurs that are more bird-like. And Gallimimus only weighed in at about 226 to 230 kilograms, so it was an animal that was actually quite large, or a medium-sized dinosaur for the time, really, because some dinosaurs were massive, especially the sauropods and the titanosaurs and stuff like Argentinosaurus, Brachiosaurus, Giraffatitan, Diplodocus, Apatosaurus, and moving on to other such animals. But I could just keep saying them. It was actually quite lightly built. Gallimimus was. It wasn't a overly large. Well, it was a fair sized animal, but it was more, even with the picture you can see that it was generally built for speed with its long hind legs. And finally, I'm sorry for that little digress of dinosaur information there. It was believed that Gallimimus was actually an omnivore dietary wise, and it would have fed upon leaves and plant material and possibly invertebrates. There's a delightful little picture actually showing Gallimimus in a more actually reptilian looking sort of theme, which I actually don't believe it looked like, but it's actually got quite alien-like arms, which we might talk about later on in the video, or will we talk about them in the video? We have to see. But the first known fossil remains of Gallimimus were actually discovered by a team of scientists on an expedition to the Gobi Desert of Mongolia, which is quite a desolate place. But it was not until 1972 that the remains were described by paleontologists Ricken Barsboyd, Hisoka Osmaliski, and Iwa Wonichevich. Although I think the expedition was a Polish expedition, or it's definitely a joint expedition between two countries. But I apologise for my pronunciation. And if you did not hear what the names were correctly, I'm sure you can Google Gallimimus and find out about its discovery and give the paleontologists the actual credit they deserve. But there is actually only one known species, being a type species, Gallimimus botallatus, I think it is, or butallus. We'll go with botallatus, sounds better. But the name of Gallimimus, as I've actually put on the screen for you at the bottom right, Gallimimus, actually means chicken mimic, in reference to the neural arches of the front neck, which actually resemble galliforms on the order in which game birds and chickens belong to. Okay, firstly, this shows what I believe to be a very accurate representation of what Gallimimus possibly looked like. And I actually believe a lot more theropod dinosaurs and a lot more dinosaur books in the future or information on the internet is actually going to feature dinosaurs with feathers. We already know that many different species of theropod are actually feathered, and there's more evidence coming out, and it's seeming to be quite conclusive that most raptor species had feathers, and even perhaps many tyrannosaur species had feathers. Even that massive Tyrannosaurus Rex you see in Jurassic Park, all absolutely like aligned with scales, might have actually been feathered. So that's a quite little image to ponder and wonder about. But moving on, this is what Gallimimus and more dinosaurs actually would have looked like, being such as bird-like and possessing feathers. But Gallimimus also had very flexible arms with long fingered like claws that might have actually served functions and purposes such as catching and holding on to prey, or possibly digging to find possible food sources, which would have been quite useful during that period, especially in Mongolia in the Cretaceous period. Gallimimus' actual best defence would have been sheer, I would actually say it's sheer speed, because Gallimimus was not a dinosaur that was intimidate other animals. Its claws and legs would have not been that good as a defensive measure against large theropods and predators. And if you actually see in Jurassic Park, Gallimimus can run at quite high speeds, and it's actually believed to closely resemble an ostrich. So the best defence for Gallimimus would have been running away from any potential predators, such as raptors and tyrannosaurs. Here are some lovely chicken-like facts for you, ladies and gentlemen, on the topic of Galliforms and Gallimimus. But let's get right into it. Gallimimus actually had very thin jaws, which are only a few millimetres in thickness. Gallimimus possibly swallowed rocks and stones, like many modern bird species that aid with digestion, as many bird species are not capable of chewing. I don't know if all bird species are not capable of chewing, because birds are not really what I prioritise in. I'm not an ornithologist. I like to think of myself as a herpetologist, or maybe possibly in the future I'd like to be a paleontologist, but we shall see. Gallimimus had very long arms but relatively short hands, which given it's quite an alien-like appearance if you've actually seen the xenomorphs in Alien. And Gallimimus could have potentially been feathered and maybe even possessed rings, as you saw in the previous slide. And that is a very, very accurate representation of it. And if you didn't need any more information about what Gallimimus also features in, it does feature in Jurassic Park, as you have the beautiful logo at the top of the screen. Gallimimus is certainly an interesting animal, and it also helps show the similarities which keep on coming up and becoming more evident in science between bird species and dinosaurs. And I thought this includes this lovely little amusing caption. This is actually a fantastic image. I have noted in the information on my YouTube video, I don't know if I'm going to call it references, because I've added picture references, and one of them does show this image. But this is a fantastic image. It shows a lovely Cretaceous landscape, or like wooded area in Mongolia. Shows two Gallimimus species, completely feathered and almost like possessing wings. You can just see at the front. I'm just trying to work them out if they are wings actually, or just some sort of appendages. And I think this is a Tabarosaurus, which was an Asian tyrannosaur. But I might not be pronouncing that correctly, because this is working off the top of my head. But as you can see, the Tabarosaurus, this large massive theropod on the right, is actually feathered, which is believed that many more tyrannosaur species and theropods in general might have actually been feathered. As always though, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you found the video both fun and quite interesting. I would appreciate if you did like the video, and comment any feedback, like if you do, what other videos would you like to see, if there's any information I missed out or you might even got wrong, or if you just generally didn't like the video. I don't mind criticism, I can deal with it. Just don't be an absolute trouble to me. And also, if you really, really did like the video and want to see more happy goodness, subscribe by joining the Raptor Pack today. And I'll see you all next time.